Isaiah Hartenstein, the former Knick, led OKC with 6 assists. Isaiah Joe, 31 points off the bench. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shows why he may be the favorite for MVP. 39 for him. And OKC blows out the Knicks tonight by 25. It's the Knicks' worst loss of the year, 126-101. Great to have you with us, everyone. Bill Pito along with Wally Zerbiak. So the Knicks now have lost 4 out of 5. It's rare to see an NBA game basically be decided in the first quarter, but tonight was decided in the first quarter. OKC closed the first quarter on a 15-2 run. They were up 31-17 after the first quarter, and that was basically it.
Knicks got outclassed in every way, shape, or form in this one. They looked like they were a step slow at every position. Oklahoma City was driving by them at will, breaking down defense at will, getting wide open shots for whoever wanted them at will. This was a rough performance from the Knicks. I think this is one where this team looked tired tonight. You got to throw away this tape. You're not going to learn much from this tape, and you got to regroup and re-energize and try to figure out a way to find some adrenaline for the rest of this month going into the All-Star break. This is a good team. They came in here with a mission. There's a reason why they're 31-6. They've been blowing out teams all over the NBA, but I was just really surprised at how easy they blew the Knicks off the floor tonight.
First 6 minutes, neither team could make a shot. OKC began the night 1 for 10, and then, Wally, they went 24 for their next 36, and at the half they were up 70-43.
Yeah. And the Knicks got off to a slow start, and that's unlike them a little bit at home. You know, normally you can feed off your crowd a little bit, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, nobody could keep him in front of them. I mean, he was just blowing by the Knicks right and left.
He only made 1 3, Wally, and he had 39 points.
And it just seemed like he could have had 60 if he wanted to. The passing was really impressive. You see what a key cog Isaiah Hartenstein is. As a big man, his athleticism, his mobility really caused problems for the Knicks. And then the way he can pass, the way the floor was opened up, the Knicks couldn't make the Thunder pay for playing small. There were times where the Thunder had 5 guards out there, and the Knicks couldn't keep up with their speed. They just had the Knicks just moving all over the place on the defensive end of the floor, and the point of attack was a real problem for the Knicks to slow down.
Wally, look at the three-point shooting. The Knicks, 4 of 31. They were better against Toronto. They shot 12 of 33 against Toronto. But in 9 of the last 10 games, the Knicks have really struggled from the outside. Nothing worse than what we saw tonight in terms of percentage. Is it really the three-point shooting that's really hurting the offense here?
Yeah. You can't keep
up. Are they getting good looks, or are they just not?
They had some good looks in the first half. OG had some wide open looks. Mikal Bridges had some wide open looks. Jalen Brunson hit a 3 early on in the game. He got going early. It's just one of those things where if you're not going to knock down shots against a team with this caliber of potency and firepower on the other end, then you're going to struggle. And the Knicks look like they kind of let this one go because they were like, we can't keep up with this team. The speed, the athleticism, and the youth of this Oklahoma City team really got to the Knicks early on in this game, and they just did not have an answer for that speed and athleticism.
Is there a player in the NBA like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander who can score like this without having to make threes? Again, only 1 of 1 from downtown. He goes 15 of 21 from the floor and goes for 39 points.
Remember Michael Jordan? That's how Michael Jordan used to get it done.
Right.
30 every single night. I mean, he just got to his spots. Incredible athlete. He reminds me a little bit of MJ. He's very elastic out there, and the way he just slithers in the paint, the way he gets wherever he wants. I mean, he leaves defenders completely flat-footed.
Remember, he's 6'6".
With his speed. Yeah, exactly. That's how tall Michael Jordan was, too. And he gets to his spots. He's really simple. The shots that he takes and makes, and the game comes easy to him. It really does. I mean, his first step is as good of a first step as there is in the NBA. Right up there with Ja Morant, but he's bigger than Ja Morant, so he can finish around the rim, and he doesn't have to rely on his athleticism and jumping ability all the time. You saw that fan in the back just in awe of his play. I'm in awe of his shot chart because he's a throwback player who just takes makeable shots, and he just absolutely killed the Knicks in pick and roll, got wherever he wanted, no matter what defender was guarding him. It was an impressive performance. He only comes to the Garden once, and you could see he was motivated to show everyone in the NBA landscape, how good he really is tonight.
Last Friday at OKC, Aaron Wiggins off the bench, 15 of his season-high 19 in the fourth quarter. Tonight off the bench, Isaiah Joe, 23 of his season-high 31 in the first half, and he tied a career high with 8 threes. So again, a player off the OKC bench makes a major, major impact.
Yeah, he came in the game, he got open looks, and you could see he was just ready to go from the tip. I mean, look at how open these shots are. Rhythm shots, and he wasn't hitting any rim. I mean, these things are just bottom. He was in such a good rhythm when he got into that game, and he continued to just be nice and aggressive and just, you know, take shots. Like, where's the defense? I mean, that was my question in the first half. They just could not contain any type of penetration that the Oklahoma City Thunder were getting. And then they get steals. You know, they're an aggressive defensive team, so they're really going to get easy stuff in transition. And they got a lot of that, too. And they opened up that game at the end of the first half leading into that second quarter when the game was really over at halftime. I did not even feel the Knicks had a chance to make a push down 27 at half. They just looked like they didn't have enough gas in the tank to keep up with this team tonight.
Two players had off nights. OG Anunoby only 4 points, and Wally Mikal-Bridges did not score a single point tonight.
Yeah, that's you know, the Knicks rely heavily on their starting lineup. So if those two guys are not going to, you know, show up and give much production at all, it's going to be tough to compete with the best team in the league or the second best team in the league record-wise. Karl Anthony Towns, he looks like he's laboring out there. He looks like he's a little banged up with the knees. Jalen Brunson, he got his points, his assists. Towns got his double-double. So those two guys found a way to at least produce something tonight and an off night. But overall, the Knicks don't have a lot of margin for error when their starting five does not play at a pretty high level, all five of those guys.
All right, well, let us say hello now to Monica McNutt. She helped call the game on ESPN North, the radio broadcast. Monica, what do you think tonight?
I've been trying to find the words between my trip downstairs from our radio spot to here, because
Keep looking down, Monica. It's not going to help.
Listen, I really don't quite know where to put this one yet. I will say this, and Tyler Murray, my radio partner, we had a really good discussion, and Tyler made the point that in Oklahoma City, the first 3 quarters, or at least certainly the first half, was some of the best basketball that the Knicks have played this season. And that is what is required to beat a team as astute on both sides of the floor like the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think we saw that tonight. You have off nights in the NBA. That's a given, that's a granted. But I didn't love the fight tonight. I thought, but behind Isaiah Joe's monster performance from the three-point line early in the ball game, the Thunder threw a haymaker in that first quarter, and the Knicks could not get their footing afterward.
I'm with you, Monica. What'd you think of Isaiah Hartenstein returning back to the Garden? He looked pretty dominant in his performance here tonight.
So I was, again, telling Tyler, I actually was really sad to see him go and kind of mentally was holding a grudge of sorts because I'm like, could have worked it out. The Knicks were so close. We had such a great run. But Coach Mark Daigneault said something pregame that really echoed how I felt as I've watched Isaiah Hartenstein in an OKC uniform, that there is so much runway for him as a member of the Thunder. And even Daigneault said, not that he has not made a tremendous impact already, but we see more room for him to continue to make an impact. And so whether it's his passing, his scoring now, just the team camaraderie and the professionalism that he also brought here, he's able to get deeper in his bag as a member of the OKC Thunder, and that's great for him.
We talked about Mikal-Bridges. Didn't score a single point and continues to struggle in terms of shooting, and you wonder if he's just starting to get a little bit tired from the minutes that he's playing. Leads the league in minutes. He's been great to this point, but maybe the legs are getting a little bit tired.
I got to sit and digest, maybe watch this back again, because I'm struggling with some of those things, Pito, for us that have covered the New York Knicks all season long. But I also want to make sure I'm giving due respect to how good the Oklahoma City Thunder are. And so right now, those two ideas are sort of competing with one another. I don't think that you are in the wrong to wonder about that, particularly for a guy that went 0 for 7 from 3 tonight. So much of shooting is about having your legs. And I actually thought the first couple of shots he took looked to be a little bit hopeful, and as a shooter, you can't shoot the ball hopefully. You got to shoot it with confidence. So there's a lot to digest. There's a lot to unpack from this one. I think we all saw the fourth quarter. Essentially, the flag was waved as Coach Thibodeau went to his bench, and if you had to find a silver lining outside of this team being perfect from the free throw line, I think some extended minutes for some of those bench guys who I think are gonna have to be able to get on the floor down the stretch was a good thing.
All right, Monica, thanks. We'll see you on Sunday afternoon. Knicks host Milwaukee, pregame at 2:30, game at 3. Campaign 11 off the bench. Deuce McBride had missed the last 5 games with a bad hammy, had 7 points off the bench, and obviously they got more playing time than normal because of the nature of the score.
Yeah, that's good. You got to try to find a rhythm for those guys off the bench. Campaign, again, when he gets bulk minutes, he seems to produce. He can score in a lot of different ways. Deuce McBride, he's going to be fine. First game back after missing 5 games, so the jumper might be a little bit off. He's going to recalibrate that, get himself back into rhythm. A little bit rusty, coming back tonight. But overall, I think it was good to kind of let this bench play a little bit, because the minutes that the starters are playing, I really firmly believe it's starting to wear on them. And this is game 40-41. We're getting into 50 soon. Like, at some point, the starters need a little relief from the bench, taking some of those minutes away from the heavy minutes away from them.